James Harden is a good player, but why does it seem like everyone just absolutely hates him? There has to be a reason, right? Well, there are a bunch of them, one of them being his play style. Is there such a thing as calling too many fouls? Well, yes. According to basketball fans worldwide, there definitely is, and it's reason enough to hate a player. Although there's no written rule against this, or most things he does on the court, there are certain unwritten rules, acknowledged by basketball players all around the world, that these NBA stars have to follow.
And Grant Williams wants them to review the play.
But Harden never does. It just irks fans to see the way he plays. The whole point of watching a sport is for entertainment, and if a player's way of playing is annoying or wrong, according to these fans, they're obviously going to hate said player for ruining the games.
Allowing Harden to go left and create the contact. There's nobody home on the left side and nobody communicating.
People think that Harden rarely ever makes an actual shot. What he does instead is wait to hook his arm and go ahead to call a foul. Guess his whole strategy is based on calling fouls. I mean, sure, you could do it once or twice, but doing it as much as Harden does, even players would get annoyed.
Harden goes by him and then uses his arm to
took it right in
LeBron's
there.
right there.
And LeBron saying, "Are you watching?"
Let alone the audience. No one likes this kind of foul play. What makes me even more mad is that there are no rules against this, nothing to make him stop doing it. And there are a lot more reasons for the hate he gets, not only from basketball fans, but from players as well. Players like Chandler Parsons. Don't you just hate it when people talk about you behind your back and they're not even saying something true? Well, that's what Harden did back in 2013. After some players departed after the 2013-14 season, Harden found a weird way to comfort Houston fans. He said that the Rockets would be just fine and won't be facing much trouble on the basketball court. Why? Well, according to him, the team only lost role players. Yikes! Well, these alleged role players weren't going to sit in silence and take the disrespect that Harden was throwing their way, especially not Chandler Parsons. Parsons had signed a 3-year contract with the Dallas Mavericks that offseason, a contract worth over $45 million.
Messy there. Last time that we saw the footwork lose.
Parsons spoke up about Harden's comments and said that it was a pretty ridiculous statement, and everyone agreed with him on that. He didn't stop there. A while after, he commented on what Harden said. He took to Twitter to give Harden a bit of advice, saying how he should really think before he speaks. Remember how I talked about Harden's habit of calling fouls? Well, this next player probably hates him for the same reason. I'm talking about Evan Turner. James Harden has a lot of haters. Nothing to be proud of, but he just has that kind of personality.
Veteran team, obviously, championship team, and one of the best teams that we have in this league.
Most of his interactions with these haters aren't even that heated, or long enough to get heated, to be honest. But Evan Turner made it very clear that he's not fond of Harden, and I'll let you decide if his reasons are justifiable. During a 2014 game, Evan was pretty aggressive in the game against the Rockets, especially with Harden. He laid a hand on him after a whistle, and then shoved Harden after getting his hand pushed away.
Disjointed offensively tonight.
Oh, Evan Turner and James Harden go nose to nose. The officials step in.
And you know how that goes in a game with Harden. Evan drew a foul, even though the whole exchange between the two basketball players wasn't that long or heated. It was enough to show fans just how much Evan hates Harden. I mean, that's not an interaction you'd have with someone you have nothing against, right? And Harden calling a foul after what Evan did probably didn't soften Harden's feelings toward him. In fact, quite the opposite. I'm pretty sure that this gives Evan plenty to bond over with this veteran NBA coach. I'm talking about JB Bickerstaff. Bickerstaff took over the team right after Kevin McHale was fired. You guys might remember that from a while ago. Kevin was never really on the best terms with Harden. Like many others, he couldn't stand the player. Well, it did not take long before Bickerstaff started to understand why Kevin felt that way. Soon after, he became the new coach. Harden was getting on his nerves too. In a game against the San Antonio Spurs on December 26th. Back in 2015, the Rockets lost pretty badly, and as you can guess, Coach Bickerstaff wasn't really happy about it. After the loss, we saw an angry Bickerstaff complain about the loss.
We have to solve the core of our issue. Right. There's a reason why this team is so up and down.
But he made some pretty important points. He didn't exactly name Harden, but it was obvious that he was talking about him. And he was right for doing that too, to be honest. Harden did well in the first half of the game, when he was actually trying to do well.
In the lane, Pop's not happy with their. When Houston defends and they're running off misses, that's fine.
But then, as the game neared the ending, it looked like he just got lazy and played very poorly. That was enough to infuriate fans everywhere, let alone the literal coach of the team. But it's not just him that Harden managed to piss off. He made his teammates mad as well. Okay, so we all knew that everyone hated this guy, but this one might be a shocker to you. Like, okay, yeah, he has a very annoying personality probably, and his way of playing the game is pretty annoying too. But if anyone would understand him, it would be his teammates, right?
Back to Bill. Oh, my goodness. What a move by Harden! And he drops the sledgehammer. What a play!
Well, it's hard to be friends with people who are A, annoying, and B, purposefully bad sometimes. Back in 2015, the team was doing bad, and so they held a players-only meeting on the 17th of November to discuss the issue. According to a source, all the players on the team were sick of Harden's aloof behavior on the basketball court. It infuriated his teammates just as much as it all infuriated us, and he was singled out multiple times during this meeting. So, it's safe to say he isn't the most favorite player among his teammates. He was just performing poorly during the games, and that's not the reason they disliked him. Harden's teammates knew he could do so much better. He had the potential to go all the way, but he was just not focused on the game and was taking it all too lightly. And that was the part that made his teammates so angry with him. Speaking of NBA players who got mad at Harden, how can I possibly miss out Charles Barkley, former NBA player, a true legend, and current commentator Charles Barkley is known for running his mouth. That's just part of his charm. He doesn't filter his thoughts and says what he wants about basically everyone, and that's why people love him so much. But that's also the reason a lot of people don't take what he says to heart. But with Harden, it seems like he means every single word, from criticizing his wardrobe to joking about how Harden gets coaches fired every time he does his celebration move. Okay, that last one might be a joke from Barkley, but you see how it's obvious that he doesn't like the guy, right? Well, if you had any doubts about it still, Barkley cleared it all up when he simply said that he did not like James Harden's play, and that he thinks that playing with the NBA player wouldn't be fun at all.
Man, you better think again. Them people in Philadelphia ain't gonna be having you going out there playing bad.
Looks like James is really in for a personality makeover. If he wants any people in his corner, I suggest he seriously thinks about it. And that was all about why everyone hates NBA star James Harden. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.